Hello Trumpeters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Yes, another one. I've just got this kit in. Don't tell the wife. But it, well, I wouldn't say it's in a sale. Got it from Dave Coley's Emporium, where I get a lot of kits from. I was after a BMP-3 for many years, because ironically I was going to do it for Chechnya, at the time when I was in the army. And there is no way I could do that now. Flag behind me. This is going to be a Ukrainian BMP-3 captured from the invaders and turned against them. So yeah, it's a Trumpeter 1 in 35 scale. You'll see, I'll take a photograph of the box and hopefully that'll be the thumbnail. I wasn't expecting a lot, to be honest with you. I thought rubber band tracks, and I was going to put up with that because I did have a look for some aftermarket stuff. I may go down the aftermarket route with the gun barrels. It's got a twin, if you don't know, the BMP-3. It's got a 40mm and a 30mm. This looks like a rod going at the side of it, but it's another cannon. I might go down the route of getting a barrel, because I won't. I've still got the. I was working on the Badger last night. Between the Badger and the bike, it's going to be a while away yet. And I haven't forgotten about the car rentals, so I want to build as well. But this is really, you know, when you get a kit in, you just want to shovel. I can't. I got 2 kits on the go. I'm not putting them in boxes, and then I just don't have the room in this place to do that. I admire the guys that can move on to another kit and then come back to it later on, and I do that. I've got HMS Kent on the go at the moment, obviously for months and months, but yeah, anyway, I'm digressing. My idea for this is to make a small base for it. I always say this, and I either don't make the base or I make the base too big or whatever, but I want to make a small base with it. I'm hoping to plaster it with figures. I'm not going to get any of these Chinese rip-offs, and I can't afford really resin figures, and to be honest with you, a lot of them come from the Russian Federation, and I just can't touch stuff like that. I'm not while Ukrainian businesses have been smashed to pieces. I ain't going to be. So I've got stuff I could do for Ukraine, but they're Zvezda kits, and I won't. I'd prefer to drive over them at the moment than make them. I know there's a lot of people in that part of the world that probably don't agree with the war in Ukraine, but I can't do it. I can't touch it. I won't build that country's kits, buy them, build them, and I'm not knocking the people out there that do, because a lot of my mates still build them, and that's, you know, again, no problems on that from me. I just can't do it. You know how wrapped up I'm in this, and you know, no way. So anyway. So I'm a pilot of those countries' kits about this deep. I can't touch any of them. They're both land and air. Never mind. Right. This is gonna. I'm hopefully, if I can find the figures, the differences with the Ukrainian, whether they're territorial battalions or even the regular army, they're having to wear. It's horrible, but they're having to wear everybody's cast-offs at the moment. So that you'll see them in German gear, British gear, American gear, Canadian gear, and every other gear from around the world that's supplying helmets, body armour. You'll see them in Russian gear that they've captured. You know, so I can use a whole lot of plastic figures, hopefully, out there that I can mix and match without spending a fortune on them. But that's what I'd like to do. You know, you often see BMPs. They have a tendency to go up in flames, and you'll see that's why you see a lot of them, infantrymen, unless they're really coming under direct fire, they'll usually sit on top of these vehicles because they are known to even with self-sealing fuel tanks, they do catch fire a lot. You know, not saying that warriors and all the others, nothing is. We had a thing in the UK, you know, it was in Iraq and Afghanistan, you know, yes, the guys needed better equipment, but there's no vehicle out there that will stop an improvised explosive device, an IED, if it's big enough. You put a £1,000 bomb under a culvert, it's going to shred anything that comes over the top of it. But these do have, you'll often see, whether it's on the opposite side or the Ukrainian side, they don't just sit around on the top just for posing for photographs. They're usually there because the idea is if the vehicle gets hit, some might die, but a lot of them will be thrown off the vehicle. It sounds ridiculous, but thrown off the vehicle and might have a chance. But I've wanted to do this for a while, and the prices, obviously with the COVID, getting the stuff from China and all that, because let's face it, most of them are made in China. I'll say this is Trumpeter. Some of the prices have been really ridiculous, and then obviously the invasion came, and my Mara Frederick's done a BT-R, which is a wheel version of APC, and he's done a Ukrainian one, or he's doing a Ukrainian one. Go over to his Facebook and you'll see every now and then he'll put build photographs up on there. So go and check Frederick out, Hobby Shack, over on Facebook, and you'll see his build of that. But I also wanted to do the same type of thing, and I wanted to do it in BMP or BTR. I wasn't that fussed. So yeah, I'm waffling. I always waffle. So let's go down and take a look. Ooh. Right guys, thanks for joining me at the bench. Just got to do something first. There we go. Ukrainian. And just in case you don't know where I stand, I stand with Ukraine. Who says I'm partisan? Right, usual trumpeter box. As to the accuracies of the kit, again, like most things, I know bits and pieces and not a lot on most things. This is, I think, the almost up-to-date version of the BMP-3. You can get updated side skirts and that now, more ballistic protection. This obviously doesn't have it, which I'm happy about because there's enough footage of them in Ukraine without it. We get a small piece of photo etch fret, which looks like it's the wading board at the front, because these are amphibious. We get the usual ditching log. Now I remember Night Shift saying last year, the year before, I can't remember when he looked into it. Yes, he did do research on ditching logs. They're actually all, people often say, oh, they look more like telephone poles, and his conclusion was, after his research, that they actually are not necessarily telephone poles, but they're all actually made up a certain size, obviously rounded off, debarked, all that type of stuff. So, he was saying a lot of us go to the extent of trying to make them look more tree-like. Well, they are a set size and obviously made to a set dimensions and everything. There's a lot of there's a bit of ECM gear on. We've got different laser rangefinders and thermal optics. Yes, I'm being very vague because I can't, without doing more research, which I will do before I start building it, which won't be for a while yet, obviously until the badge is done. I'll be able to tell you more about that when I've read up a bit more. We've got the usual smoke discharges. However, like most Russian and Soviet era equipment, see the exhaust here, they can actually funnel fuel into the, I can't remember how it's done, but they can make you see these huge clouds often going around them. That's because they can press a button or pull a switch, whatever, and they'll put chemical or even just extra fuel into the system, and it'll make these giant clouds of smoke that you see. So they're not always hit when you see them on drones, and obviously they're always there as a type of countermeasure. Anything else I need to tell you? Yeah, we got, so as I say, this is a 30mm cannon. Sorry about the glaze, but this is a 30mm cannon. This is a 40mm cannon. The 40mm, I believe, can also, it carries 8 anti-tank guided missiles that it can also fire through the barrel. If I remember rightly, does it carry around 40 rounds? I think it carries around 40 rounds for the 40mm. It's got an auto loading system, and at least 2/3 of the rounds for both cannon. kept ready, linked to fire, and then they have another third of the ammunition is ready to obviously put in afterwards. I don't know if you can see on there, but you've got a couple of vision and firing ports there. So yeah, I think we covered just about everything. Let's take a look. Right, we've got the usual Trumpeter, I suppose you can call it, blurb of what they've got coming up. BTR-50, they've got new variant. Well, BTR-50, should you want to do another captured one, they're in service in Ukraine as well. This says, well, if it's mine, it says it's got a full interior. That wouldn't be, well, not a full interior, but a full turret anyway. Might even have some stuff on the inside. We shall see. I've only just taken a look at this. I see a delivery of this, so I'm not any more wiser than you are at the moment. Right, guys. Sorry for what am I saying? Sorry for the delay. I've just switched the damn camera back on, haven't I? It's not a delay for you, right? Yeah, we've got some decals. Now, it does appear that for once in my miserable life, I've hit pay dirt. It appears that it's not going to be a mini art or a Ryefield full interior kit, but there's enough detail in there that you can either scratch up a bit more or just be happy with what you've got, looking down into which is all I ever asked for, looking down into an open turret. The reason my badger's all closed up is because it's just a big cavern inside, so that, we've got, I'm not going to take those out of the bag. We've got some Russian decals there, and we've got the driver's gauges and stuff there, maybe a radio as well. A bit of photo etch. It's actually the engine grille, not the, I thought it was going to be on the side of the box. I thought it was going to be the actual ramp, the amphibious ramp, whatever, the bow debris. But yeah, just the usual few grills and looks like straps of some description. That's fine. I might well see what's out there for. I don't normally do it because getting extra brass pieces and that, I'm not a good enough builder. I don't have a lot of money, says a bloke who keeps buying stuff, but I don't have a lot of money, and for me to buy extras, a lot of the guys do. My Mara, Greg Riley, he throws loads at his stuff because he can build. He's a decent builder and it's worth him doing it. Whereas me, I'm not a very good builder, and it's a lot of money that I don't have, in my opinion, wasted, if that makes sense, on me. I'm just not good enough. But I'll knock it off for a second. In fact, actually no, I won't. Let's get the instructions out. And this isn't, again, it's only one of Gav's rough and ready. We all know Trumpeter don't give you units or anything. This isn't any different. I never have a problem with that. I will, I don't know what colour I'm going to come up with it yet, but that's your, oh no, we've got another one here, sorry. And we've got this one as well. I will probably be doing mine more or less just plain green, with some of the hated Zs on the side with that have been rubbed out and put Ukrainian colours on and things like that. Things I've seen on YouTube. Just give you a quick look through. I know it's not very good, but and we don't have rubber tracks with this. It's stick together tracks, which I am glad about, because I was looking at extra tracks, and there was a Chinese company that wanted about 40 quid plus delivery for metal tracks, and again, for what I can do, it's way out. I should have said, if you pop along, if you want a BMP-3 or maybe some of the other BMP series. I'm not 100% sure what he's got. But go along to Dave Coley's Emporium. I do not have any relation to him whatsoever. I just buy things off him. But as I've always said, if you get this, came to me, I ordered it one day, and I'm never normally fussed, you know, it doesn't have to come right, you know, the next day or whatever, but they normally do with Dave. You normally get them next day if they're ordered in time. And I got this for £19 or £20 and £3.50 delivery. I mean, you know, I've seen these going for like about £28 a piece, you know, so yeah, I was well chuffed with that. But yeah, we've got an interior. Now, is it going to be brilliant? No. It's going to be probably basic, but it's an interior. As I say, I've got a striker that I want to build, and it's always bugged me that there's no interior to it. So you can't have the back ramp down, or even the driver's compartment, because you can see straight through it. So it keeps putting me off building it, but I want to build it. And it was going to be, it was before I really got the push to do this one. It was going to be the next one up on military side of things. But as you can see, we've got a basic interior, and I'm sure with a bit of looking around on the internet, you will find that you should be able to make more of it if you want to. As I say, it's not going to be like a Ryefield one or a Mini Art one. This has got a coaxial machine gun as well. Sometimes they even have a Dushka on top as well, and you've got two, I think, 12cm machine guns in the bow as well, that are fired by just traversing using the tracks, and you literally it's just like a bullet hose. And here's our, I mean, that's brilliant. That turret, that's fantastic. You know, I'm not going to go into how what's the words I'm after. If it looks right, I'll just put it down to that. It's good enough for me. As I say, I enjoy full interiors, but I prefer partial interiors where there's enough interest that if somebody looks down the turret, whether you've got a figure in or not, they can see something and not, you know, just a black hole. But yeah, I'm well impressed with that. I never expected that. I just brought it on the fly, really. I saw it was in Gav's ballpark of £20. And I thought, Dave, you've got me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I know I always say that, but I am. So great. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to see if I can get some interior shots, some walk-arounds and that. I might try and beef that up. Yes, I know. I've said that I'm going to, because you can open these up at the back. Now I'm going to plaster mine with figures, but you never know. Never know. This is all about the turret by the look of it. They've done the usual with Trumpeter, where they've put that nice bit of foam over the top. That includes the barrels. I don't really want to, I mean, they're halves, so you can have a seam line. I might well, this is turning into, it might be worth investing in a bit of aftermarket. I still would probably try and build the tracks, but that's a bit out of my range. I'll say £30–40. But we've got different targeting systems, I'd imagine, there in the turret itself. Bit of residue, mould release residue, so you probably do with giving these a scrub. Right, we've got our ditching log here. Again, it's in two halves, so it's up to you whether you use it or not. I may use it, I may not, depending on what the two halves look like when they're glued together. I might just get myself a piece of dowel and rough it up, and then make my own clamps, if that, for want of a better word. We've got some rear seats. Now they are just hard plastic. You know, there's nothing shaping them, you know, whatsoever. So I've seen plenty of knocked out ones, let's face it, on the Ukrainians have knocked out and burnt out, but I've not really taken a notice of I was watching one video that was put up by one of the Defence Forces yesterday of a knocked out tiger, and I had a right look round that one because they were rooting around it ultra quickly for obviously stripping it of anything they could find that was useful, and it was almost like a walk around. So yeah, again, things like these seats you might want to do something with when you know, or I know, something a bit more about the vehicle. We've got looks like the rear doors there. I believe they, as you can see by the hinges here, they open outwards. The engine on this is centered. It's not like a lot of Western vehicles where and you don't get an engine with this, and you wouldn't see it anyway. It's the more center to the right, if I remember what I was reading up earlier, and it's actually under. It's a double floor, so it's actually under the floor, and the soldiers have 5 at the back and either side of the drive, one either side of the driver. So there's seven blokes can be carried, plus the 3-man crew, which is obviously the driver, commander and gunner. And it's got self-sealing fuel tanks, which I actually believe are in front or to the side of the driver as well. I believe in the front. That's actually said they use that as extra protection, which some vehicles do, but as a driver I wouldn't be too happy about that. But yeah, so we might do some dowel and bits and pieces with that yet. I'm not going to get the wheels out. You'd have 2 pairs of the road wheels, the usual rubber. They'll have a centre mould seam, which we probably want to wear down anyway with with your they get worn down anyway. The outside of the rim, this is steel rim here. That's quite shiny from what I've seen. Well, these ones, that's the inside wheel, but the outside rim gets shiny from the teeth of the tracks. Right, I cannot see hardly any flash on these. I think I never said to you when it was. Have we got it on the side here? No, I can't see anything at the moment. (2011). It says 2011, so there's still not a lot of sinkage or too much flash or anything on these. I'm actually quite impressed with this kit. I've made a couple of Trumpeter ones, and sometimes I've had the odd bit of fit issue, but again, this is gav building, so it's probably my issue. But no, I'm quite impressed with those. Seats, as I say, are basic. That's a gunner, a driver's seat. You know, you might want to just chobble a bit. You know, just want to say chobble a bit out, but just make it look a bit more lived in rather than just a piece of plastic. These ones here have got a mould line. If these are seats, which I imagine they are, got a mould line, big heavy mould line down the middle. But again, that can be worked on. But even these little these J hooks, whatever they are, there's no flash on those whatsoever. Again, going back to our drive wheels. Oh, very impressed with this. Again, we got more fine parts. I can just make out shovels, pioneering tools, which, to be honest with you, it's going to be more labour trying to expose them. Maybe fire extinguishers, not sure. They're in halves. Interior or exterior, I'm not sure. I think it might be interior. Probably is, because we've got the body shell in the box there at the moment. Looks like we've got our drivers, dials and gauges. Again, that's all you need, you know, when somebody, we've got some lights, we've got wing mirrors here. Where are we, Gav? There you go. But that's all you need, you know, if just that little extra bit that, you know, you're not doing like the more older Tamiya kits where they've just got a bit of a plate for the driver or commander or something to stand or sit on, you know, and there's absolutely nothing there. It's just nice, you know it's there, and people, if they really want to take an interest, can have a look as well. Got a nice fashioned mantlet cover there, a bit of texturization on that, and that'll be fine. Side skirts, you sometimes see them with them off, because obviously, as it's proving at the moment, he probably left his invasion slightly later than he should have done, and he's now expecting his armour to go over that soggy Ukrainian mud. You'd have thought they'd have learnt their lessons from Barbarossa, you know what I mean? I don't get it, but still, if it aids Ukraine, anything's better. But yeah, so you'll sometimes see these with these side skirts. They're only small side skirts, and you'll sometimes see them off completely, just to, as I say, stop the mud clogging. You'll often see them as well with the rear quarter removed, and I've noticed that on a fair few, so I might do that on this one. You know, take a saw and just cut the, where are we there? Cut if that's the rear, cut it off, you know, and show a bit more realism that way. Going again, we've got our optics here. I'm not sure if that's for the laser guidance system or the thermal. There's a thermal optic as well. This is spaced. It's made of aluminium alloy, toughened aluminium alloy of some description, but on the turret they've up armoured the turret with extra steel plate on the front of the turret anyway, where it's obviously going to be fired at. Right, these are the top deck hatches. They can be moved as an entire hatch up, or the smaller ones, and they're obviously made to be opened and for you to see the interior, because they've got some lovely interior detail as well. I think that's brilliant. So yeah, I think that's about it on that. All we've got to have a look at now is the tracks. Oh, right, let me just stop the camera for a moment. Oh, tracks. Not a lot compared to a lot of the bigger vehicles, you know, the main battle tanks and that. Will they stick together? We know Gav's problems. All we can do is try. But again, I prefer to see this than the rubber track. I really just don't like rubber tracks. So I know that's what I thought I was getting. I mean, again, for £20, I think that this is turned into an absolute bargain. And here we have very low profile turret on these guys, obviously for like ballistic protection and whatever. All of the Russian stuff is made, or the older Soviet era, and this was obviously started out in the Soviet era. It's been upgraded. So that's my chair creaking. We've got a bit of clear parts, won't get them out, only tiny bits. And I'm not going to get these out the bags, so sorry about the crunchiness. Oh, a load of detail at the bottom as well. These are quite high off the ground. Can you see? It's our side detail. It's got a date stamped on that. No. As I say, it said 2011 in the box. And that's the all-important top piece. That's our grille, should you want to go with that one, or the PE part provided. Got some nice weld lines. Some down the side as well, which you can't see in the bag, I know, but I've just seen it. No, really Really impressed. Now, obviously, we don't know how it's going to go together, but to be fair, I've built, I can't remember now, 3 trumpeter kits, an APC and a couple of MBTs, and I've not yet had one that had massive fit issues. The odd one is often my fault, because as we know, I can't build for toffee, but I've never really had much problems with them. Now for me, you know, all right, I'm partisan in this this conflict that's going on at the moment. You know, you can hardly fail to know where Gav's loyalties are. Whichever way, whether you wanted to do this from its previous owners in the conflict now, you know, like previous conflicts, they do a United Arab Emirates. There's even South Korea, believe it or not, operates these. You know, whatever you decide to do, I just think, as I say, I have seen these going around for £26 up to £30 odd plus delivery. Dave Coley of Dave Coley's Emporium was selling this one at around £19 or £20 plus the £3.50 delivery. This is UK, obviously, but you might want to look at it. I think you've got everything there. Let's just put that back on, so I'm not just looking at a box of plastic. Yeah, I think you've got everything there. You've got enough interior that's, whether you want to open one of the rear hatches, which are around here, obviously any of the command hatches, driver's hatch, these whole section can open up as well. There's enough there, if you, at the basic level, just to show some busyness in the turret and the rear areas. But I'm sure if you got into it a bit more heavy, you could probably scratch build a lot more into this. How the tracks will turn out, I'm always sceptical. So far, the only ones I can ever build are Ryefield stuff, but you never know. Yeah, as I say, just take it slowly and just hopefully they go together. Or we'll be building a knocked out version. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I wish I hadn't opened it up now, because I want to get onto it, but I'm not. I'll say I'm enjoying the Badger, so that's taking priority, and the bike, of course. The bike's still getting. In fact, the bike will be having a bit of work done to it this weekend. So yeah. This has been a giant unboxing. They always are with me. It's not a new kit. It's not a fancy kit in the sense of it's not one of these Ryefield all singing, all dancing kits. But if you want, by the look of it, without obviously building it, if you want a decent APC to build of this type, whichever way you want to build it, I think this is going to have a whole host of decent options. You know, you could just in diorama, if you wanted to do a diorama, I mean, you can have this, as I say, all the decks open, you know, getting stores on board, whatever it is. You know, there's loads that can be done with this kit. So yeah, really looking forward to it. All I've got to do is build the dreaded tracks. My Mara Steve Jones scale models. No? Anyway, Steve, you know who you are, even if the rest of them aren't too sure. Steve, this could be a kit for you, Mara. You know, I don't often see you doing modern stuff, apart from the Scorpion, obviously, that you're doing at the moment, but you could get your scratch building skills on this anytime, you know what I mean? I mean, it just that would just give it one more huge boost. So yeah, around 20 quid. I got mine from Dave Coley's Emporium. Again, I keep shouting the shop out. I don't have any. I've never even actually been to the physical shop, and it's only about 20 mile away. But yeah, go and check out Dave Coley's Model Emporium, or Dave Coley's Emporium, I should say. He always has some decent deals going. And so this wasn't even on a sale. It was just, that was the price. So look after yourselves, guys. I'll be back soon. Well, not too soon with an update on the bust, because obviously that's going to take. I did say I'll probably would get that all together now before I do another one. So probably a couple of weeks or a week away. I don't know, as long as it takes. We'll have an update on the Badger in the next 7 days or so. Got some 28mm to show you coming up as well. So yeah, look after yourselves, and we'll speak soon.